interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. How's everybody doing? And I got some, actually something a little bit different for you today. It's Battlefield 3, and I'm playing on Wake Island Rush. And, you know, this is definitely something different for me. I have made it pretty clear from the gameplays on my channel that I really like more close quarters, more in-your-face, more infantry, gun-on-gun type gameplay. And I kind of have strayed away from these more traditional Battlefield-style maps. And I haven't really talked about it yet, but I kind of want to address it and kind of figure out why. Because this was actually probably the most fun I've ever had in more of a vehicle-heavy map. But, you know, I think Battlefield 3 is really, I guess the Battlefield franchise in general is interesting. This emphasis on vehicle gameplay is kind of something that you don't really see a lot. Especially when it's in combination with infantry, when you have both going on side by side. And, you know, it's one of the Battlefield's greatest strengths, there's no doubt about it. But from my experience, it was never something that I thought was really exciting or entertaining or something that I wanted to take part of. But, you know, now that I've kind of my last video talking about how we're in the September lull. Things are getting a little bit boring. You know, Operation Metro is really boring. It's gotten very played out. You know, you've played that map 100,000 times. I don't care who you are. But with this, it's trying something new, trying something different. Yeah, I haven't really spent a lot of time in the Battlefield series playing these more traditional styled maps. So it feels fresh, it feels new, it feels different. And so it's given me an opportunity to kind of play some of these maps and kind of figure it out a little bit. And you know, and I knew that if I gave it a shot, I probably would like it. But the learning curve is steep. And it's not just like a learning curve in terms of, you know, point and shoot, and aim, and general first-person shooter elements, how to manage recoil, those types of things. It's more about how to navigate the map, how to deal with vehicles, how to not get absolutely pooped on by a bunch of vehicles. How to still play as an infantry player, which I will. And you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to strive to become a tank master or an airplane master. I don't know if I'm ever going to want to fly a helicopter like a boss. But to be able to play an aggressive recon amidst all those things is kind of cool, and I think that is pretty exciting. And so just kind of wanted to share my feelings and articulate it a little bit more clearly, because, you know, I definitely think that it's a good thing, but and I know that a lot of Battlefield fanboys are probably going to be a little bit upset, but I don't necessarily think that that is something that I love. And here's why. This is why I don't find this heavy vehicle-style Battlefield gameplay all that intriguing. And it's because, number one, you know, a lot of people say, well, it requires teamwork, and that's true. If I'm playing recon, I'm going to put down a soft lam, and I'm going to spot. You know, take out targets with my sniper rifle as I can, but my primary purpose for dealing with these vehicles is to put down a soft lam, which I did to the best of my abilities. I put it down as most often as I could. I have no idea how effective it was, but I did it. And on the flip side, you know, so I'm relying on these engineers to use their javelins and to use their iglas or stingers to take out these air targets or ground targets. I'm relying on my teammates to do the job when I cannot. And, you know, the thing about that is really great if you have a team to play with, but if you don't, that sucks. And that is extremely frustrating. And I think that, I mean, I know that the lone wolf style is kind of looked down upon, but that's where I'm at. That's the game that I play. I don't have a bunch of friends that play Battlefield. I don't have a squad that I can roll with, or I don't have, you know, 8 guys, 2 squads that I can hop into a server and just roll. I don't have that. And to try and rely on randoms on the internet to, you know, do their role is just, it's not going to happen. It's not a realistic expectation for this type of a situation. And perhaps I'm jaded and cynical, but this is just the reality. This is what playing Battlefield has been like for me. It is not all roses, and it doesn't always work out, you know. And if I put down this soft limb, I have no idea how many, you know, javelin kills I enabled, but I don't know if it was a ton, and I don't know if it was as worthwhile as I hoped it was. And I honestly think that that is just a part of the game. It's good to reward team play. Please don't hear me wrong. I'm not saying that I would rather have a bunch of idiots running around. I would love to play Battlefield with a squad, but that's just not, something that I'm capable of. So for me to go, my choices are to go into Operation Metro and try to control a lane with a sniper, versus trying to hop into one of these servers and trying to kind of coordinate a attack with a team. I mean, I'm gonna choose Operation Metro almost every time because I know what I can get done, and I know what I can do to help the team win, and I'm gonna be able to get a lot of kills, and that's it. That's all that it's gonna be, and I don't have to worry about having a crappy team. Because I'll be honest, like, few things are more rage-inducing than when you do your job, but your teammate doesn't do his job. I mean, when it's built into the game that you need to rely on your teammates and they fail you, that is extremely rage-inducing. I mean, that's horrible. It's stupid. And there's nothing that I can do about it. I need to rely on these other guys to do their role, but they didn't. And, so do I need to kind of suffer through that? I'm not going to. It's not going to happen. I'm going to move on to something else where I can be more successful and just have more fun, playing more of a lone wolf style, because that's just the nature of Battlefield 3, and it is what it is. And I can either continue to try to fight it, or I can just accept it and maybe move on to something else that might be a better fit. But all of that said, I still want to make it clear that I think Battlefield is a fantastic game, and I think that the fact that it requires teamwork is a beautiful thing. And perhaps when I am in more of a position to have that, maybe I'll have more fun. Maybe it will be a better fit for me. But for now, this is what I've got. This is where I'm at, and I gotta make do with what I have. But that's not to say that I think Battlefield is, it's still good, and it's still cool, and it's still something that I'm going to try, and still something I'm going to learn, because it is pretty rewarding. When you do have a united push, and we actually had some fairly good teamwork going on in this game. Using the Amtrak, using some of these vehicles to kind of plow forward, and once I kind of understood how to play a little bit more defensively, so that I wasn't always getting caught in the lines of sight of these tanks, I found that I had some good success, and I was really able to do a good job of, navigating lanes and, figuring out traffic patterns and learning camp spots. And it still rewards a good shot. A good sniper rifle is always effective. So I feel like I was definitely helping my team, and it was this was a fun game, and it's definitely opening my mind to, playing more of this style of Battlefield. But I also just want to make the argument, because I know that the Battlefield guys are a sweet community, and I love that. I love that about Battlefield, and I don't want it to ever become Call of Duty. But I just say it straight up. Battlefield is one of its weaknesses is that it's really difficult to enjoy the game when you're going lone wolf. That's just a fact. That's the way it is. It's part of it is just the internet. I mean, people on the internet are not cooperative. They're not gonna help you out. They're not gonna, be the selfless man and play their role. They're gonna try to kill whore. They're gonna try to do what they can to have fun, however they see fit. Whether that's kind of manipulating some sort of broken mechanic, whatever. And so you have to keep that in mind. You have to take that into consideration. That is a part of Battlefield that we all have to deal with. And I guess kind of thinking about how they could, kind of make that happen a little bit more. I'm not really sure. The squad mechanics help. Having some sort of maybe a little bit more highly functional built-in game communication maybe would help. I think they do a good job of, rewarding people. I think the point system in Battlefield really works, because I usually am pretty successful in getting a lot of points, even if I'm not necessarily getting a ton of kills. If I'm healing people, or if I'm dropping a lot of med packs, or if I'm doing a lot of spotting and spawn beaconing, I'm usually able to get a lot of kills. Or not a lot of kills, but a lot of points, even though I'm not getting a lot of kills. So that feels good. I think that's one of the things that I love about Battlefield, that they reward you with points for doing a good job. But it's Battlefield it's a sweet game. It just, for me, for my situation, for where I'm at, in the manner in which I play it, it's not ideal. And so I have to make the best of it. And so that involves playing a lot of Metro, playing a lot of Grand Bazaar, focusing on, gameplays that don't require as much teamwork. And I think that's just where things are going to be, and to talk a little bit about Armored Kill, from what I understand, Armored Kill, it definitely will maximize those qualities that I've been talking about. Armored Kill is even bigger. It's even more vehicle heavy. And so for a guy like me, I don't think I'm going to get Armored Kill. It's especially when the things I've heard about the AC-130 and the ways in which that breaks the game. And almost like, one of the things that I think really bothers me the most about the AC-130 is the way in which it kills you when you didn't even know that it was coming. I think that, I've heard it in other places, and I agree that one of the most frustrating things in multiplayer first-person shooters is when you die and you don't know why, and you don't know what you could have done to try to prevent it. I definitely think that is one of the things that makes it so frustrating, when you don't feel like you could have done anything. It's just that they somehow abused some lame mechanic or whatever the case may be, but it was out of your control. It wasn't so much that you made a wrong move. It's just that something else happened to kind of get in the way. But, that's... Armored Kill, I think, is a good expansion. I'm glad they came out with it. And I think... I'm curious to see how, once, in a couple of weeks from now, how are people receiving Armored Kill? Is this AC-130 thing on Rush going to continue to break it? Is it going to be to the point where it's not even fun, where people are not even really enjoying themselves? I guess we'll see. We will see what happens. And I definitely think that in some respect, Armored Kill needs to succeed. It needs to do well. Because, I think that Close Quarters was a bomb, and I think that, if Armored Kill struggles, it's like, well, goodness gracious, Armored Kill was, like, catering hand in hand to the Battlefield experience. And if DICE does everything in their power to explicitly make a expansion pack that caters directly to the Battlefield experience, and that even itself sucks, I mean, that does not spell success for this whole Battlefield recipe. We will see. We will see what happens. I'm really curious to kind of see how the community continues to respond. But so far, I don't know if the reviews have been overwhelmingly positive enough. And I also think that, this disparity between console and PC is, I've talked about it before about why there's a difference in mentality, but to just talk about the way in which the game itself is different. I mean, just surely to have 64-man servers, I couldn't imagine playing a game like this on, like, what is it, 8v8 for a 16-man server? I mean, that's just absurd. Or is it, maybe it's 24, I'm not even sure. But still, 24-man, it seems crazy small. So I think that would really suck. And I don't know what they can do. I don't know if there's anything that can be done until the next generation of consoles is released. But that sucks. I mean, to have that kind of a disparity between your platforms that's not cool, and I wish that there was a better way to do it, but that's about it. I managed to have a pretty solid game, had a good time playing one of the more vehicle-heavy maps for a change, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on these topics as well. See you soon.